We go to a shout-out to the Phillies. Hugh Douglas, a sweep.
A sweep.
A sweep.
I didn't see that coming, though.
In fact, on Friday, I asked you to guarantee a series victory. And
I didn't see that.
The whole studio audience here that was live in studio, they were disappointed by you. But you were dead wrong, but a lot of us were. Because I didn't see that coming.
Nobody see that coming.
No. Man, they played good
baseball.
baseball.
You know what else I didn't see coming either?
What's that?
Me hitting this 5-leg parlay that I hit this weekend.
You got lucky.
I don't know why they voided the Detroit game.
Well, because they stopped playing because of the injury.
But I was up, though.
No, but they can't. But you didn't win.
But I was up.
No, but they're not going to pay it out if they only play 2 quarters.
But I hit that thing still.
Okay. I'm very proud of you.
We back. We living high on the hog now. I told you we was going to be living high on the hog.
We're living high on the hog with the Phillies as well. A sweep of the Texas Rangers. Hugh, that was a good weekend for the Phils. They get a well-pitched game out of Sanchez on Friday. They get a decent pitch game out of Luzardo on Saturday. Yesterday, and we'll spend a lot of time today on what we're dealing with right now with Zack Wheeler, who did make the start and did pitch okay enough to get him through the game. But they win the game yesterday with a comeback on, how about Saturday? With Topper pushing the right buttons, Castellanos sitting, Kepler in. Kepler gets the big hit off of DeGrom in the 7th inning. Hugh, the Phillies swept the Texas Rangers, and you couple that with the Mets getting rocked in
5 games. Was it 5 games up?
My goodness, they're 5.5 up. And I want to give you some math on this because I thought about this morning, and this is pretty remarkable when you think about it. On June 12th, which we are basically 2 months since June 12th, right? That's August 11th. On June 12th, the Phillies woke up 4.5 games behind the New York Mets. They are now 5.5 games up on the New York Mets. 4.5 and 5.5, we add those two things together. That means the Phillies have been 10 games better than the Mets since the middle of June. That is a pretty remarkable run. And a lot of that, we haven't even loved the way the Phillies have played. But they've been 10 better than the Mets the last 2 months. Hugh, it feels like they're starting to put a little separation here between themselves and the Mets. So you have the wins. And then you also have the Wheeler element where he gutted through that yesterday, but obviously he wasn't fully himself yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a pitcher. That was the thing that jumped out to me, man. Didn't have his velo was up, but he was able to paint enough to get the win yesterday. And that's the thing that stood out to me. And this team gutted it out and got a win.
Yeah.
You know, they were down, and they gutted it out, and they were able to fight back, and they got the win.
Some great defense yesterday.
I tell you what, man, that on both sides, for both teams. I tell you what, to see that this weekend going into it, not expecting a whole lot from what we've seen in the past, this feels like they're turning the corner a little bit. I know we asked that question about a week ago, and I really didn't know how to answer that because the sampling size was too small. But it feels like they're turning the corner now.
Well, it does. It does. The Phillies have played good baseball since the trade deadline. They're 7-2 since acquiring Bader and Duran. Duran has been remarkable so far as the Phillies closer. He just shuts it down whenever he comes in. And they are playing good baseball right now, and you couple that with the way the Mets look like they're about to collapse, if they're not already collapsing. I mean, the Phillies could put some huge distance between themselves and the New York Mets here. 215-592-9494. It really is one of those things where it's like you look at it and what hits you the most from the weekend. I mean, the sweep is excellent. The way they're playing is excellent. And I got to give Topper credit. Because last week, and this isn't an apology, Hugh, it's just credit. Okay, last week I was critical of Rob Thompson because I didn't want to see Kepler play, and I want to see Bader play every day. The bottom line is I still think Bader should play every day. He's their best outfielder. That play he made yesterday to rob a home run, he made that look so easy. He just lifted himself over the wall. Easy robbery of a home run for the Rangers. I want Bader to play every day. But Saturday night, it wasn't lost on me that Topper's platoon had a different way of approaching it, and he hit a different button, and it worked. On Saturday, Topper sat Castellanos to play Kepler. And that means everybody's part of this platoon now. If they're planning on, or at least alluding to, or keeping the idea open that Castellanos is no longer an everyday guy and it's just a strict platoon across the board, give me Bader in center, and I'm okay platooning left to right. But Topper pushed all the right buttons. They got through the weekend. They win all 3 games. But, Hugh, there also is the other side of it. I can't ignore it. I know you said he's a pitcher, and he is, right? You're right to give Zack Wheeler credit because he clearly
is not himself.
No. I mean, you look at every pitch he threw yesterday, every one of his pitches, right? Fastball, cutter, whatever, sweeper, splitter. They're all down velocity-wise, compared to his normal. In fact, most of them are down about 2 miles an hour, which is a pretty big difference for a major league pitcher. If he usually sits at 96, 97, yesterday he was at 94, and that's a big difference for a major league pitcher. Hugh, I am concerned about Wheeler. Not that I think he can't figure it out and gut through these starts, But I need him at his best for the month of October. I think the Phillies have enough cushion now. They could win this division if Zack Wheeler the next 5-6 weeks isn't himself. But once October 1st rolls around, I don't know, man. I hope he could build it back up because he didn't look himself yesterday.
I'll tell you what, the most impressive thing to me was that his velo was down, but he was able to pitch.
Yeah.
And I think that's a credit to his athleticism.
Oh!
No. He's an athlete, but he's not athletic.
Well, he is. But go ahead. Yeah.
But it's a credit to that, man, and his ability to go out there and gut it out. Like you said, he wasn't feeling great, but he felt good enough to get the win, and I think that was pretty impressive, man. And to me, the way that they played defensively, the way that they got it to where they could get Duran out there in the ninth to close it out. So, yeah, that resilient, that's the word that jumped out to me, resilient, was when I think about the Phillies.
215-592-9494. What's hitting you the most after the weekend with the Phillies? They sweep the Texas Rangers. They are now 5.5 games up on the Mets. But there's also, let's just call it the Zack Wheeler situation. I mean, it is a situation. Again, it's not a little bit down his velocity. It's a lot. And you could see it. I mean, just if you're watching the game yesterday, you could see this isn't the Wheeler we're used to. I mean, Wheeler, when he wants to strike someone out, will pump 97, 98, 99 over the middle of the plate and just get anyone to swing and miss. Yesterday, he was at 94 in the first inning. The home run Jock Peterson hit was an 89-mile-an-hour cutter. That's troublesome. And you're right. I mean, Hugh's right. He gutted it out. He pitched. He got 7 strikeouts yesterday in 5 innings, even though he didn't have his best stuff. But I think we could point out he had 3 walks in 5 innings, which is not Wheeler-like. He also, Bader robbed a home run, right? So that was another run that could have crossed the board if Bader didn't make a spectacular play in the outfield. That's part of the whole situation here that we're dealing with right now with a team that's playing really well, but our number one pitcher, who we absolutely need to win something special in October, he's not right. And it kind of reminds me of 3 years ago when he wasn't right in the middle of August and the Phillies ended up shutting him down for a little bit. 215-592-9494. What's your bigger deal for the Phillies right now? Up 5.5 on the Mets or the Wheeler situation? I love that they're up 5.5 on the Mets, but the Wheeler situation is like the most thing on the top of my mind. Like 3.5 up, 4.5, 5.5 up. All right, they're playing better than the Mets right now. They've got a nice cushion. That's great. But the Wheeler situation, I keep thinking about it. Like, how is he going to wake up today? Is he going to be in his next start? Are they going to, put him on the IL? Like, all those things are in my head. That's still number one for me because more important than clinching a division or winning the division, I need Zack Wheeler healthy and ready to go in the month of October. Let's hear from Topper yesterday after the game on Zack Wheeler and what he's feeling right now.
Wheeler clearly didn't have his best stuff. So, what are you making him grinding through 5 innings?
It was great. Yeah, it was great.
Are you concerned at all?
No, I'm not concerned. They're working on some stuff, and he just looks a little bit out of sync. The velocity's not there, but his secondary stuff was good. He got a lot of whiff. 7 strikeouts.
Yeah.
A couple of walks, but 7 strikeouts. He just looks like he's just a little out of sync. That's all.
A little out of sync, says Rob Thompson. 2 miles an hour difference on all his pitches feels like a little more than out of sync to me, but Topper taking the Hugh Douglas approach and seeing the bright side on Zack Wheeler.
Got to see the bright side on that side, man.
Gutting through the...
Got to see it. That was pretty impressive, though.
Yeah, but his velocity was
way down, but he got the win, though.
Yeah, he did. He didn't pitch great, but he pitched good enough. All right, Kyle, what are you feeling this morning as the Phillies had themselves a heck of a weekend and Zack Wheeler yesterday, not himself, but a win?
Yeah, I don't want to rain on everybody's parade because I, like everyone else, very happy that they're up 5.5 games on the Mets. I love seeing the downfall of the Mets, and it's a great time for the Phillies to be hot while the Mets are playing like tragic baseball right now. But I can't get the Zack Wheeler thing out of my head. If Zack Wheeler is not right, I said this before the weekend, if Zack Wheeler's not Zack Wheeler, we're not winning the World Series. I really think it's that simple. And I understand that he gutted it out and he got the win. It was just 2 runs, but that wasn't the Zack Wheeler that I know. That's not the Zack Wheeler that's going to be our ace throughout the playoffs. Like, the number one reason that I believe the Phillies can win the World Series is because of what they're throwing out there at 1 and 2 with Zack Wheeler and Christopher Sanchez, like them being as dominant as they can be. And if Zack Wheeler's not that, then really it makes the entire starting pitching staff a little bit shaky in my mind. I don't know what Zack Wheeler's going to be. I don't think I can trust Taijuan Walker or Jesus Luzardo, even though they're kind of walking on the tightrope the last few times they go out there. And while we're winning, I think things are going to change in the playoffs. Like, it's not going to be as easy as it's been, and teams are going to make it harder for them. If Zack Wheeler's topping out at 94 miles an hour on his fastball in the postseason, like that to me is trouble. Yeah. And the Wheeler that I saw going against the Tigers when I was at that game, it's not good enough, and it's not going to be good enough for them to go win the World Series. And so they can be as many games up as they want on the Mets and as many games locked into a playoff spot as they want. But like, we know what the goal is of the season. It's winning the World Series. And I don't think if they have this version of Zack Wheeler, then it's happening for them. So I don't know what they're going to do, I think, like, to try and look on the bright side of it a little bit, maybe he is feeling okay and he's got to ramp up to get that strength back because he had a few days off. I hope that's the case, but if not, like, I need to see them do something, shut him down for a couple weeks, whatever, and get him right because that's the most important thing for this team right now.
Yeah, and I think, Topper said he feels okay about it and he feels good because he gutted it out. He's taken the Hugh Douglas approach to this. He did take him out after 83 pitches. That felt like a tell to me more than anything else. Like, if you feel good about the way he's performing and he's feeling, why did he come out at 83 pitches? It wasn't 93. It wasn't 103. It was 83 pitches yesterday. Wheeler was out of that game, and the bullpen did a very nice job, including Duran at the end with the save. But the 83 pitch is a thing, and the best way I can frame it is this. I feel as good as I have the entire season about the Phillies making the playoffs and winning the division. I mean, they're 5.5 up. The Mets look like they can't get out of their own way, but there's like a little dark cloud over the excitement, or there's like a clouds blocking the sun out. Because if Wheeler's not himself, Hugh, what does winning the division mean? We need Zack Wheeler. To be his best.
I think you and Kyle are being a little bit premature. I think that he went out there. I mean, obviously there's no structural damage, and for him to go out there and pitch the way that he did, I think that's something that he's going to have to ramp back up to.
I'm being post-mature. Did you see the velocity?
80.
No, I mean, he did. It was like
94.
Yeah, it was 94. Yeah, I mean, but I'm thinking for him to go out there, that was pretty impressive in the pitch the way that he did. And I think that he will get his velocity back. Because he's still dealing with, whatever it is he's dealing with. And to your point, if he feels good this morning and he doesn't feel any different, then I think that's a good sign.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, where do you unpack it and where do you come down on it? Like, if you just look at yesterday, you're not wrong, Hugh. He got through it. They won the game. He didn't pitch poorly. But if you look at he had that complete game against the Reds right before the All-Star break. I think it was the last day before the All-Star break, or maybe that last week of the first half of the season. Since then, his ERA is like 4.7. He's given up 7 home runs in 28 innings. He hasn't been the dominant Zack Wheeler, I would say, for about a month now. And now it's one thing, okay, he's not pitching well. Because I remember Kyle brought this up 2 weeks ago or a week ago. Are you worried about Zack Wheeler? And I said, well, no, it's just a few starts where he's not himself. He's Zack Wheeler. But then yesterday, for the first time, I saw a velocity dip that I hadn't seen the entire year. So now we have performance that is not where we want it, and the velocity. Yeah, of course it's top of mind. 215-592-9494. What's hitting you the most this morning on the Phils? Up 5.5 on the Mets, and they look like they have a chance to run away with this thing, or at least get up a huge mark on the New York Mets. Or is it the Wheeler thing, which is obviously a thing? His velocity's way down.